Hello, my name is Ira Monco. I'm a sales engineer specialist at UiPath, and in this series we're going to be talking about insights, more specifically how it works. Let's take a look at what's in the data. The insights data comes from our automations, and we know that each of our automations run within a robot. Each automation is called a process, and each time a process runs, it's called a job. So if we take a look at the insights data for jobs, we see that we have a unique identifier, which is the job ID. We know when it was created, when it started, and when it ended. Well, we also know things like what was the job state and what was the job source, what was the process name, what process version, what was the robot that ran it, and what type of robot, who was the user, what type of user. We know what folder and what environment and what host machine it ran on. The data source for insights comes from each of the UiPath products. They each have their own logging mechanisms. These are designed for write speeds. What we need to do is we need to transform that through an ETL process and get that into a data warehouse, which is Insights. This has an analytical database. It's designed for read speed. Typically, a data warehouse will have a star schema. In the middle of that is a fact, which indicates a specific occurrence or transaction. In our case, we'll have one row per job execution. Surrounding that are dimensions. They help you contextualize the facts. You can categorize, segment, and reveal details about your data with dimensions. In addition, we have measures. These are quantitative, a property which calculates sums, counts, averages, mins, max. So if we take a look at the jobs data model, our jobs fact is the job ID and the creation, start, and end time. Everything else is a dimension, and these can be categorized into job, robot, process, user, folder, and environment. We also have measures, things like status. What was the faulted rate? What was the success rate? And we have time. How long did it run? How long was it in pending? How long was it in the suspended mode? It's important for us to understand this data model so that we're better able to find the data in the front end. So let's take a look at how that's done. We'll add a visualization and we'll select the jobs data model. When we expand, we'll see our job ID, and then let's also look at something like how long did each job take to run, so total runtime in seconds. And when we run this, we'll see for each unique job ID how long that job ran in total seconds. Well, this is a system-generated ID, so it's not that meaningful to me. Perhaps I would be better suited if I had something like process display name. Let's add that and rerun our query. It appears that process invoice queues is our longest running job. However, the way we query data is we will always show the least common denominator. So in this case, job ID is our unique identifier. That's why we're still seeing that. Well, if we simply remove this and rerun our query, we'll be able to see the total runtime in seconds grouped by process. That's better. And yes, indeed, it looks like process invoice queues is the longest running. So let's do a little bit more investigation. First, we'll filter just based on that process. So we'll add process invoice queues. But we also want to look at, perhaps it's based on the version. Now we can see that it indeed looks like this version is taking significantly longer. But we should probably add a few other items here, such as the number of processes that ran, the success rate, the successful jobs. This will help give us a better indication of exactly what's going on. In addition to the jobs data model, we also have a queues data model, a robot logs data model, an ROI data model, and automation hub data models. Thank you, and to learn more, go to uipath.com/insights.